It all started in the dim, echoing hallway of Westfield High, the kind of place where you could hear the hum of the fluorescent lights and the faint chatter from classrooms down the corridor. Jacob Harris walked with his head low, clutching his books tightly to his chest. He was 17, tall but slim, the kind of boy who kept to himself. He wasn't unpopular, but he wasn't exactly noticed either, and in high school, sometimes invisibility is safer than attention. But that day, attention found him. The three boys who cornered him were well-known troublemakers: Rick, the self-proclaimed leader with a constant smirk; Mason, whose build was like a linebacker; and Troy, the one who never spoke much but followed Rick like a shadow. They'd been pestering Jacob for weeks: snide comments, locker shoves, the occasional accidental spill of water over his homework. But today, Rick's mood was darker. It happened fast. Rick grabbed Jacob's collar and shoved him against the lockers, Mason blocking the hallway like a wall. "Think you're too good to talk to us, Harris?" Rick sneered. Jacob tried to push away, mumbling that he had to get to class, but then Rick's hands tightened, not on his shirt this time, but around his throat. At first Jacob thought it was just another scare tactic, but Rick didn't let go. The pressure built, his breath catching. His vision blurred, black creeping in from the edges. He could hear Mason's chuckle and Troy's muttered, "Man, that's enough," but Rick kept going. The sound of the hallway faded, replaced by the pounding of his own heartbeat in his ears. And then, nothing. When Jacob opened his eyes again, he was on the floor. His books were scattered, his head pounding. A teacher's voice was shouting from somewhere behind him, "The bullies gone," their laughter still ringing in his ears. He didn't know how long he'd been out, but humiliation washed over him heavier than the dizziness. People had seen. They'd watched. And no one had stepped in. That night, Jacob lay in bed staring at the ceiling. His throat still ached. He could still feel the panic in his chest from when his breath had been cut off. Fear and anger churned together, but there was something else too: a cold, determined thought: this will not happen again. The next day, Jacob wasn't the same. He walked into school with the same quiet demeanor, but his eyes were different. Over the years, he'd trained in boxing with his uncle, a former amateur fighter. It was something he'd done for discipline and fitness, never with the intent of hurting anyone. But now, he realized, he had the skill, and maybe the responsibility to use it. During lunch, Rick and his crew swaggered in, scanning the cafeteria like they owned it. They spotted Jacob sitting alone. Rick's smirk returned. "Look who's alive," he called, loud enough for the whole room to hear. Mason laughed, pounding the table. Jacob stood. Slowly. Calmly. Every eye turned toward him. Rick sauntered forward, the same cruel confidence as yesterday. "Gonna run away, Harris?" he mocked. But Jacob didn't run. He stepped forward, closing the distance until they were face to face. Rick's grin faltered for just a moment, and that was all the warning he got. Jacob's training kicked in, his body moving without hesitation. A sharp, controlled jab to the gut knocked the wind from Rick, followed by a hook that sent him stumbling back into Mason. Mason roared and charged, but Jacob sidestepped, delivering a precise blow to his ribs that left him gasping. Troy didn't even try. He just stepped back, eyes wide. The cafeteria erupted. Phones were out, kids were shouting, but Jacob didn't hear them. He stood tall, chest heaving, staring down at the two who'd once towered over him. His voice was steady, cold: "You ever touch me again, you'll regret it worse than this." Rick didn't reply. He couldn't. His pride was shattered along with his dominance. And from that day forward, the bullies gave Jacob a wide berth. But the story didn't end there. Jacob didn't become a bully in return. He didn't go around picking fights. Instead, he started helping others, the quiet kids, the ones who were always looking over their shoulders. He became someone people felt safe around. And slowly, the culture at Westfield High began to change. Because sometimes, all it takes is one person standing up, not just for themselves, but for everyone who can't. And to you watching right now, what would you have done if you saw this happening? Drop your answer in the comments below, because I want to hear your thoughts. If you believe in standing up to bullies, in choosing courage over fear, and in treating people with kindness and respect, then join our community here at Be Kind Always. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and share this video so more people hear this message. Together, we can make sure no one faces the fight alone.